Right now, a firestorm of protest is sweeping across Iran, and it's being met with an absolutely brutal crackdown. At the very same time, you've got this high-stakes showdown brewing between Tehran and Washington. So today, we're going to break down this incredibly explosive situation, from what's happening on the streets of Iran all the way to the halls of global power. And right off the bat, we have to talk about the human cost of all this. According to human rights activists, at least 65 people have been killed in these protests. And that number, just tragically, includes 7 kids, 7 people under the age of 18. This isn't just some abstract political story. It's deeply, deeply human. So let's dive into what's actually happening on the ground. We're seeing these fiery, nationwide protests in a regime that's using its full arsenal to try and get things back under control. The regime's strategy here is really two-pronged. On one hand, you've got the physical crackdown, just brute force on the streets. But on the other, there's an information war going on. They've imposed this sweeping internet blackout to basically cut the country off from the rest of the world. It makes it incredibly difficult for protesters to organize and for us to even see what's happening. But this is where technology is stepping in as a real lifeline. We're seeing reports that Elon Musk's Starlink satellite internet service has been absolutely crucial. It's allowing Iranians to get around the blackout, to communicate with each other, and to share footage of what's really happening with all of us. Now, all of this turmoil has, unsurprisingly, drawn a really sharp response from the United States. President Trump has issued a series of very forceful warnings directly to Iran's leaders. And this is the most direct threat. I mean, you can't get much more unambiguous than that. It signals a potential escalation that goes way beyond just sanctions or diplomatic pressure. A very clear line has been drawn in the sand. Okay, so what does getting involved actually mean here? Well, this clarification is key. President Trump was specific. It does not mean boots on the ground. What it does mean is hitting the regime very hard where it hurts, and it also comes with a pledge to make sure the protesters are going to be safe. But if Washington is projecting strength, Tehran is projecting pure defiance. The Iranian leadership, from the supreme leader all the way down, is making it very clear they will not back down. The regime is digging in its heels, and it's invoking its own revolutionary history. They're basically casting their survival as a tribute to the blood that was shed to establish the Islamic Republic in the first place. So this isn't just a political statement, it's a deeply ideological one. And it's not just talk either. This defiant stance is being backed by the full power of the state. Iran's judiciary chief has announced publicly that protesters will face the legal system with zero leniency. That sends a really chilling message to anyone out on the streets. And this really just illustrates the standoff we're in. It's a collision course. On one side, you have the U.S. saying, we will get involved. And on the other, the Iranian regime declaring it will not back down. You've got two immovable positions heading right for each other. So why does this matter so much on a global scale? Well, analysts are watching this not just as a domestic uprising, but as a potential geopolitical event of, historic proportions. I mean, think about that for a second. That's the actual question some commentators are asking. The fall of the Berlin Wall completely redrew the map of Europe. The idea here is that the fall of the regime in Iran could have a similarly seismic impact on the entire world. The stakes are just incredibly high. Some are calling this the biggest game changer of this century. They see it as a chance to reverse nearly 5 decades of a regime accused of sponsoring terror and a real opportunity to completely reset the map in the Middle East. It's being framed as this pivotal moment for the U.S. and Europe to finally stand with the Iranian people. So is there any kind of precedent for how this could all play out? Well, some analysts are pointing back to the 1979 revolution. A key factor, a real turning point in that uprising's success, was when the oil field workers went on strike. It crippled the regime financially. And that presents a kind of potential modern-day playbook. You can almost see the dominoes. Step 1, the nationwide protests. That's already happening. Step 2, if the oil field workers join in and go on strike, that could cut off the regime's financial lifeblood. And from there, the theory goes, the entire structure could just come crumbling down. And look, this isn't just wishful thinking. This sentiment is being echoed by some major voices, including the Wall Street Journal's own editorial board. The feeling is that this isn't just another protest. The combination of the pressure from inside and the focus from outside has created what a lot of people see as a rare, genuine window for revolutionary change. So we're left with this question. You have a nation in turmoil, global powers locked in this incredibly tense standoff, and what might be a historic opportunity for change. As the entire world holds its breath, will the brave people of Iran succeed in writing the next chapter of their nation's history? Will this be the moment that changes everything?